The Anderson family, John, Lisa, and their daughter Emma, loved exploring the woods near their home. One sunny day, their peaceful walk was interrupted by whimpers. Peeking through the trees, they saw a shocking sight: 5 helpless bear cubs surrounded by hungry wolves. Without hesitation, brave Emma grabbed sticks and rocks, throwing them at the wolves with all her might. Startled by the sudden attack, the wolves paused, giving John and Lisa the chance to usher the cubs away. Just as they thought the danger had passed, a new threat emerged. The wolves, frustrated by losing their meal, turned their attention to John. He bravely stood his ground, but fear gripped him as he faced the ferocious creatures. Suddenly, a deep, menacing growl echoed through the forest. Startled, the wolves whipped their heads around, searching for the source of the sound. Whatever it was enough to scare them away, leaving John shaken but unharmed. Reunited with Emma, John, and Lisa's relief was short-lived. A blood-curdling scream pierced the air. They turned to see her running towards them, chased by a lone wolf. It was smaller and younger than the others, but still a dangerous predator. John sprang into action, grabbing a fallen branch and using it as a makeshift weapon. He positioned himself between the wolf and Lisa and the cubs, his voice firm and his gaze unwavering. The young wolf hesitated, torn between hunger and fear. Just as the tension reached its peak, another wolf's howl resonated through the trees. The pursuing wolf recognized the call, a likely signal from its pack. With a final growl, it turned and disappeared into the woods, leaving the Andersons safe but stranded. The forest, once a peaceful playground, now felt like a maze. The howls of the wolves, now a chilling reminder of the danger they narrowly escaped, echoed in the distance. Emma, despite her age, had spent countless hours exploring these woods. It was her connection to nature, her knowledge of hidden paths, that gave her an idea. "Follow me," she exclaimed, leading her family in the opposite direction of their home. John and Lisa exchanged hesitant glances, unsure of her plan, but with no other options. They followed their brave daughter. Emma, with the confidence of a child at home in the wild, navigated the forest with surprising ease. Dark clouds were gathering overhead, threatening a storm. The Andersons, along with the bear cubs who now followed closely, were at the mercy of Emma's knowledge and the unpredictable forest. The family's sense of direction wavered as the shadows deepened, but Emma remained undeterred. Her journey led them to a hidden cave entrance nestled amongst the roots of a massive tree. This hidden haven, a secret Emma had discovered on her adventures, became their temporary refuge. Inside the cave, they huddled together for warmth and safety. The sound of the approaching storm vibrated through the earth, a symphony of wind and rain. Despite the temporary relief of shelter, a sense of uncertainty hung heavy in the air. The bear cubs, sensing the change in atmosphere, whimpered softly, seeking comfort against Emma. The Andersons knew this was merely a pause in the adventure. The wild still held its secrets, and the approaching storm mirrored the challenges they would need to overcome to find their way back home. As the storm intensified, the cave entrance transformed into a cascading waterfall. The once comforting sound of rain became a relentless downpour, and the chilling howls of the wolves returned, carried on the wind. With every rumble of thunder, the family's anxiety grew. Lisa, ever hopeful, suggested waiting out the storm, believing it would be safer than venturing into the unknown. As the last rays of sunlight faded, leaving the cave cloaked in darkness, the storm raged on outside. And within the cave, a family huddled together, their fate intertwined with the whims of nature, waiting for the first light of dawn to guide them home. Torn between the safety of the cave and the need to escape, John knew they couldn't stay indefinitely. More animals would seek shelter from the storm, and if the wolves weren't a threat, others might be. The storm raged on, making finding their way back even harder. Waiting wasn't an option. Emma, their beacon of hope, spoke up. "I know a special path that leads right home," she declared. Lisa and John exchanged worried glances, unsure how she could know such a thing. With a child's unwavering faith in the extraordinary, Emma's eyes sparkled. "I play in these woods all the time, and the animals show me the way. It's like a secret game we play together." Skeptical, but touched by Emma's sincerity, Lisa sighed and softened her voice. "We trust you, Emma. Lead the way." As they prepared to leave, thunder roared, nearly deafening them. Sensing their decision, the bear cubs huddled close to Lisa. John secured his makeshift branch, and Lisa cast worried glances at the storm. Stepping outside, the family was met with a brutal assault. Wind howled through the trees, and rain poured relentlessly. The path Emma described was barely visible. They stumbled through the mud, the bear cubs whimpering close behind. Suddenly, a panicked yelp pierced the storm. One of the cubs, disoriented by the wind, had fallen. Fear gripped them as they searched for the cubs' cries, but the storm masked any sound. Undeterred, Emma scanned the chaotic landscape, pushing through the elements, determined to find the lost cub. After what felt like an eternity, she spotted a tiny, huddled figure. Relieved, she scooped up the trembling cub. Reunited, the family continued their journey, Emma leading them through the storm-drenched wilderness. Her eyes focused on the unseen trail, while the forest, shrouded in darkness and fury, threatened their safety at every step. Just a little further, Emma muttered to herself. 30 minutes passed, fatigue gnawing at them. The storm showed no signs of easing, and doubts crept in. Yet Emma pressed on with unwavering confidence. Finally, as if the forest itself took pity, the storm relented. Rain subsided, and the wind calmed. They stood at the verge of emerging from the nightmare. With a final push, they stepped out of the dense forest, and there it was, the familiar clearing where their adventure began. Emma's path had led them through the heart of the storm, and now they could finally see home. Triumphant, she continued leading the way, the rescued cubs nestled in their arms. Relief washed over the family as they saw the silhouette of their house, a beacon of safety. The bear cubs, calmer now, seemed familiar with the area, sensing the proximity of their own den, but then they froze. A large, shadowy figure moved through the brush, the ground shaking with each step. It seemed danger still lurked, even so close to home. As Lisa, Emma, and John urged the cubs to move, they refused. Instead, they sat expectantly, watching the approaching figure grow larger. A shiny black nose emerged from the leaves, revealing a massive bear, almost the size of their SUV. The Andersons held their breath, any movement potentially deadly. The cubs, however, reacted differently. They let out joyful cries and rushed forward, meeting the bear as if recognizing a familiar face. It was their mother. With a grateful rumble, she allowed her cubs to nestle against her. Exhausted but reunited, the Andersons watched as the mother bear and her cubs disappeared into the woods. An overwhelming sense of accomplishment and gratitude filled the air. Emma, though tired, held her head high, proud of the trust her family had placed in her. In the days that followed, the bear cubs returned with their mother, no longer a threat but visitors. They brought a sense of wonder and a silent understanding. The Andersons, forever changed by the night's adventure, found comfort in the bonds forged in the heart of the storm. As seasons changed and years passed, the story of that night became a cherished tale, a testament to Emma's unique connection with the wild. The bear cubs may have stopped visiting, but the Andersons knew they were thriving, and that was all that mattered. Emma's bravery and connection with the forest remained a source of immense pride for her family.